Hello people, you're welcome to ProUp Masterclass. My name is Tola T.A. Alabi. And today I want to take some time to talk about something that I have been thinking about for a while. And basically it has to do with subscription and unsubscribing for something. Having the choice to subscribe and to unsubscribe. You know, early this year, I unsubscribed for a cable service which is pretty popular here in Nigeria called DSTV. And DSTV is pretty big in Nigeria, in Africa. It's at the forefront when we're talking about cable TV in Nigeria, satellite TV. DSTV is at the forefront. And, with the emergence of Netflix, I realized with Netflix I had more control of my content. I could schedule my TV watching or my content consumption around my time. So with DSTV was pretty rigid. You understand? If I wasn't at home to watch something, then I would probably miss it. And if I was not going to miss it, I would need to purchase something called a PVR device that allows me to record, which I don't have. You understand? Because it's more expensive than having the regular decoder that allows you to watch this satellite service. So I don't have the PVR. It's more expensive. Subscriptions cost more. So I found myself missing a lot of things that I would have wanted to watch. So I just, I said with Netflix, I enjoy the content more. The curation for me is better, more control. So I unsubscribed for DSTV for months. And I just committed to watching my content on Netflix. And just recently, when the World Cup started, I subscribed for DSTV again, just for the period of the World Cup, because I just wanted to get to watch the World Cup, and I couldn't watch it live on the internet, and this was something I couldn't get to watch on Netflix either. So I resubscribed for DSTV, and just having this freedom to choose to subscribe and to unsubscribe was very liberating for me. I felt like I had control over the direction of my life. I had control over my decision making, and it was really good. I felt really good that I could pick something up and drop it and come back again and pick it up. Now, where I'm going with this is, I'm used to getting questions on my Telegram channel, and for those that don't know, I have a Telegram channel or a Telegram group, and it's strictly for Q&As. So if you have questions, I always advise people to ask questions on the ProUp Masterclass Telegram group, and it's strictly Q&A. So I just take time to answer questions from people. So if you want to be part of Telegram channel or Telegram group, you can search for it on Telegram, ProUp Masterclass, or you can send me an email at proupmasterclass@gmail.com and just tell me you're interested in joining the Telegram group, and I'll send you a link. But there's a question I usually get on the Telegram group, which is dedicated to life coaching, decisions about your life and career, and I try my best to answer these questions the best I can. But I get a lot of questions from young people, from between the ages of 18 and 24. You understand? That's the highest demographic that I get questions from. And a lot of the questions, most questions revolve around this. I'm in school right now studying something, and I don't like this thing I'm studying, but I found this passion for this other thing, but I've already committed time to doing this thing in school. What should I do? I've committed a lot of resources to this thing that I really don't like in school. What should I do? How do I merge? How do I merge this thing I don't like with this thing that I like? So I always see a fear to commit to what people have discovered that they like or they want to do with their life, especially when they are in school, when they've committed to school. And when I talk about school, I'm talking about like higher education. So we're talking about university schooling. I realized that a lot of people are scared to unsubscribe for the service of school that they are not satisfied with. That on subscription to school, a lot of people feel very scared to do it. And for me, those are the easiest questions to answer, but they're also the hardest questions to answer. And I thought, why is the question around schooling so difficult? Why is it so hard to just tell someone to unsubscribe for school? Like you're doing a course right now, you're studying medicine, but you realize you really want to be an actor. Why is it so hard to tell someone unsubscribe for that medicine? Why does it seem like really heavy advice? And I realized that the real issue is that school is the only service that when you unsubscribe for, threatens you, threatens your person, threatens your identity. School is the only service that does that. That threatens you when you unsubscribe. And I'll explain what I mean. You see, if I were to attend a church and I really feel I'm not connecting with this church anymore, I'm not connecting with the service, I'm not connecting with the people, with the preaching, and I struggled with it for a while, and I just said, I need to move on because I really want to go to a place where I feel my spirit is fed. I can leave the church. And you know what? It doesn't threaten my person. It doesn't threaten my identity and my acceptance in society if I go from one church to another. Even if I say I don't want to go to church I don't go to church for a while anymore, till I find the right church for me. It doesn't threaten. Nobody will know. You understand? If I said, you know what, I don't want to go to physical church anymore, and I just want to watch a service online and just watch various preachers online every Sunday, every Wednesday, you understand? Just sample this service and see which one is for me for the next few months. It won't threaten my person. I can do that and still go out and society will accept me. I can unsubscribe for a service of a church. Freely. If I were in a hospital and as a patient and I was admitted and I feel like if I'm there for a little too long, I feel like I'm feeling better, but they're not discharging me, and I decide that I'm going to discharge myself against medical advice. That's me going against the professional, against medical advice. Say I'm going to leave. You understand? I'm good. I'm done. I have the right to do that. You understand? As long as I can sign those papers and say I'm leaving against medical advice, you understand? I'm free to do that. And that doesn't affect my person. It doesn't threaten my person, my identity as a person, and society will accept me. You understand? Nobody even has to know. You understand? And I left the hospital 2 days before my actual discharge. You understand? I have the freedom to do that. If I were to set a legal proceeding in motion, maybe sue someone to court or stuff like that, and I feel along the way, I don't want to go ahead with this process, I could drop it. I could drop that case. You understand? I just say, oh, we are going to settle outside of court and stuff like that. Of course, there will be procedures, but I'm open to doing that. And because I started a case and dropped it later on, nobody would judge me per se. You understand? It's not going to affect my person. It's not going to affect my person. It's a decision I decided to make. You understand? Unless a high profile case, you understand, where there's a lot of media and I'm trying to, it has to do with my integrity. But if it's just a case, my tenant is owing me rent, I take them to court. My landlord is doing stuff, I take him to court. You understand? It's just some kind of, dispute. I can take it to court and I can choose to drop. You understand? And I'm free to go. But school is the only service institution where if you choose to unsubscribe, you get threatened with a label. And that's why people keep sending those messages to the Telegram group. It's the fear of that threat. The threat of being labeled a dropout. It's a very scary threat. Because that says that if you unsubscribe for this service, we would give you a label. And that might be the school, I'm not saying school came up with the term dropout because I feel that's a societal, something we came up with as a society. But you see, the school not addressing it and making people know that it's okay to unsubscribe. I'm saying we shouldn't stigmatize these people by calling them high school dropouts or college dropouts. If the school were to foster that, then I believe to a large extent, society would drop that term. But the school allows it to go on because psychologically, emotionally, it keeps people in school against their will. And that, from years of answering questions, I realized that's a burden for people. School seems like one of those places whereby if you've made a wrong decision, you need to keep going because they don't want that label. So they keep going down that wrong path. That's the fear. It's not the time spent or the resources spent. It's the fear that it attacks your person, your image in society. So they say, oh, he's a dropout. Oh, he dropped out from school. They ask, oh, why are you choosing to drop out? You understand? So there's already a term that is clipped to your personality that makes it hard for you to integrate with society. So you're ostracized. And I feel there's a problem with that term, dropout. It already puts a burden on you that you made the wrong decision. You dropped out. Now, there's a difference between flunking out and dropping out. Flunking out is not doing well in school. Your heart is there, but you're not doing well. Your heart, in fact, that you want to stay in school. You want to be in school. But for some reason, you're not understanding the subject. Maybe the mode of teaching is not just, it's too fast for you. You're not doing well. Your grades are slipping. And then, you can't make a particular quota and the school advises you to leave. You understand? Then you flunked out. That is not within your own control. You need to go back and try to see how you can understand, whatever subjects it is that you're having issues with. That's flunking out. But I'm talking about dropping out. Conscious decision. I'm not getting anything from this service anymore. Just like I felt like DSTV at that time wasn't a good service for me. I need clarity. I need time away from this. I'm not enjoying this environment. I want to unsubscribe. I don't believe it is right to label people on that. Whether you are flunking out or dropping out, you have no right to label anybody anything that affects their esteem as people, as an infringement on their right to make choices about their lives. And I'm not even talking about like early years schooling, primary schooling, secondary schooling, maybe to an extent, secondary schooling, some people might have some level of clarity. Primary school, I believe everyone should go to primary school. Their fundamentals, some form of primary education should be given to people. When it comes to like secondary school, I'm talking about senior secondary school, we're talking about college, you understand, high school, or we're talking about university. I don't feel this for everyone. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's my personal opinion. But then, even when people decide to go and decide to unsubscribe for a particular course, I think the school should make it okay for people to do it. You understand? And just say it's okay. It's okay if you're not getting it, because school is a place where you're meant to get clarity. And I'm meant to make it clear that we are here to help you. And if helping you means you unsubscribing, then go ahead and do it. But it's hard, because nobody wants to be labeled a dropout. And that's one thing I realized, that when people drop out of school, the biggest burden they have is a need to prove their value. And that on its own is a distraction. You understand? So let's say you drop out of school to start a business, those people have a higher burden on them to succeed in that business. They want to prove a point. And you don't start a business to prove a point. You start a business to express, to serve. But you see, when you have that dropout label hanging over your head, the first, you are just thinking, I need to prove a point. I'm more than a dropout. And that's why you see that a lot of people that drop out of school start businesses because they have that pressure that distracts them. They end up not doing well. And that's why that narrative goes, oh, you drop out, nothing, you make nothing of your life. People don't make anything of their life because of that label they have hanging over their head. It's distracting them from doing what they really want to do. They always see a need to explain their decision to unsubscribe for school. I unsubscribed for DSTV, and I didn't have a need to explain it to anybody. It just wasn't working for me. And that allowed me to enjoy Netflix. I could just unsubscribe and didn't have to explain. When you subscribe for school, you explain to every single person why you are not in school. And you can see the look of like bewilderness on their face and judgment. I mean, we got to learn to stop judging people. Now, I didn't unsubscribe for school, but then I've learned that we must be more accommodating to allow these people to find clarity. Anyone that chooses to do it, and just to move on with the conversation. It shouldn't be such a heavy conversation. If I unsubscribe for a church for a while, that's my decision. If I decided I wanted to be watching church online, that's my decision. Till I get to a place where I find somewhere, that's my decision. Just like someone can unsubscribe for physical school and say, look, I just want to be learning on YouTube. That's their decision. I must allow them the space to find their clarity and say, you know what, I'm trying to unsubscribe so I can subscribe back for this thing and go back to school for this cause or for this course. They have a right to do so. Or say, I unsubscribe and I'm not planning to go back anymore. I just want to start my own thing. They must be given the room to do so without feeling the pressure to quicken their success, to prove to you that they are more than a dropout. Or prove to society that they're more than a dropout. I always see it. People that leave school always feel a need to rub their finger in people's faces, you understand, when they have some success, or to explain it. You see, there was something that happened some years back. There's a Nigerian artist called Tubaba, and he had his debut album, I think, Grass to Grace. There was a song there where he talked about leaving school, and he said, just because I left school, some people take me for a fool. And he went back to, after a while, that song was a big hit, and he went back to edit that line. You understand? And I thought, why did you have to go back to edit that line? Number one, why did that line have to come in the song? And I just realized that it was something he had to deal with. Even though he was a successful upcoming artist at that time, he still felt the insecurity of leaving school. And I was like, why did he have to carry that burden for so long? Even though he was already shining in an area that was obviously meant for him. Why did he have to explain? Why did he have to ever come to the fore that he left school? I never knew that till he put that line in the song. And then I asked, why did he have to go back and take that line out? Why were people so uncomfortable with that line? Because they felt their children would listen to it and then that would encourage them to leave school? Why is it such a hush discussion? The same thing with Kanye West. He left school and dedicated a whole album to validating his leaving school. And the whole college dropout album was just to say, I left school, I'm making a lot of money, you are in school, you didn't make... And it just felt a little bit sad for me. You understand? It was sad in the sense that I felt this guy was carrying a burden. And he had to unload that burden on his album. That was sad. You understand? And he got it off his chest a little bit. Then he did another album. The second album, he addressed it a bit. It took 2 albums for Kanye West to get the dropping out of school off his chest, because it was affecting his person, his identity. There's something, when I read the Bible, you see, there are a lot of illnesses that were, ravaging people in Bible times, but there was one major one that was spoken about throughout the Bible, Old, New Testament, and that's leprosy. And so there were a lot of illnesses that were much more terrible than leprosy. There was the plague, there was epilepsy, there was dysentery, malaria. You understand? But why was leprosy so emphasized in the Bible? Because it was the only one that affected your identity. When you had leprosy, you were called a leper, and you were ostracized because people felt it was contagious. You understand? So it affected your identity. You were called a leper, and you were taken out of the city. When you had the plague, you were not called a plaguer. When you had dysentery, you were not called a dysenterist or called a cholerist if you had cholera. You just had it. But leprosy was the only disease then that affected your identity. Your name didn't matter anymore. Your identity was, he's a leper. You understand? So when even Jesus healed the lepers, we didn't know their names. And the one that came back, we didn't know his name. They were just called the 10 lepers. You understand? And that was the real fear of leprosy in Bible days, that it affected your identity. And that's why leprosy killed a lot of people in Bible days. It was the ostracization from society. And that is exactly why leaving school makes failures out of a lot of people. It's not because it's a bad decision. It's the ostracization of being called a dropout. And I just want to use the opportunity to just encourage someone listening to this, if you've made the decision to unsubscribe, I want to encourage you to be strong. I cannot guarantee that society will change their view, or that the school will come to a place where they actually educate society about labeling people. But you need to be strong. So that's for you. This is for you right now if you made that decision. If it's just to clear your mind, or to get on a path, or to subscribe for one course and go do another course, you have all the right to do it. Don't get distracted and try to hasten your success. I really pray that God grants you a tough skin. And for someone listening here that has not unsubscribed, and you have someone that's subscribed, just be patient with them. Give them some time to find themselves. Let's try to be more accommodating to each other. And if we can do that just one person at a time, maybe we'll come to a place where we can get rid of that label and people can actually find themselves and find clarity at the end of the day.